and we should Dagon. This is that good. This is a Cthulhu Mythos game. That, yeah, I hope this works. I really do. Anyway, let's go ahead and start. This is the game, in case you're wondering, that I was originally going to do if I had beaten the Dead Island DLC quickly enough. This was what I was originally going to do. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because the DLC went a little long. Yes, I know. I only played it for like 5 minutes just to see if it would run. This is a short game. That's why it's free on Steam. Though you can.
I'm writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
You can buy the DLC. During the game, you'll encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue journey, others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. We're not using controller, because that would be stupid. We're using keyboard and mouse. Okay, we're going to... Let's look around the room here.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
No, you won't.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
You sound like one.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
See, we got, Morphine! Oh! Achievement lock, the secret. Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War, 1861 to 65, and World War I, 14 to 18. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Friedrich Struna, probably butchered that, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, had already posed a big problem to the United States. Read Discover Trivia immediately or go back to them later in the main menu and turn off displaying trivia if you find that feature distracts you from the story. Yes. Making sure I don't miss anything around here.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Okay. Oh! Lovecraft and the Great War. Dagon was written around a month after the United States entered World War I. Lovecraft was actively interested in its course. He composed many poems which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on the events unfolding in Europe. He tried to enlist in the army, which he mentions in one of the letters to Reinhard Kleine. Some time ago, impressed by my entire uselessness in the world, I resolved to attempt enlistment despite my almost invalid condition. I argued that if I chose a regiment soon to depart for France, my sheer nervous force, which was not inconsiderable, might sustain me till a bullet or a piece of shrapnel could more conclusively and effectively dispose of me. Freaking DM! Howdy, DM coming in with a pun there. Evening, Big World 1 is a great war! Yes, it was! Let me shout you out right quick. You missed it, we beat Resident Evil Deadly Silence. And tried out knifing mode. There's a multiplayer mode, but I need to figure out how to set that up first. I need to figure out, I want to set that up, I want to try it, but that's going to be for, like, later on sometime. Let's see here. Anyway, this man wrote a letter because he wanted to go to war to die. Lovecraft was insane. But even though he passed the physical exam, his mother prevented him from going to the war. She has threatened to go to any lengths, legal or otherwise, if I do not reveal all the ills which unfit me for the army. I am Providence, the life and times of H.P. Lovecraft, S.T. Joshi. Damn. Man wanted to go to war to fight, and his mom was like, no! I'm gonna fuck it up! His mom wasn't nice.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
How you doing, DM? Let's see here. We have... Oh! The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th of July, 1900, before they embarked to China. You who should encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their King Attila made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend, may the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. May us die with dignity for their honorable... And there we go again with the... The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention of 1899. Germany didn't care. Germany don't give no shit. I don't think there's anything else. Okay, let's check the boat.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Brilliant. These motherfuckers didn't even watch the lifeboats. Okay, that's my... Nope. Gotta make sure I see all that I can click. And I'm not seeing anything. Okay, we'll just click this in.
When I finally found myself adrift and free,
okay, achievement.
I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Solitude and something, I missed it. I had an achievement there.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Should have stayed on board. Making sure I'm not missing anything. Nice view. Oh, I can look back here. Okay, didn't even think to look back here. The fuck was that? Pray to God that was a frickin' dolphin. Alright, what the hell is this?
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
You really should have thought this through, man. You really should have thought this through, but you didn't. You just leapt out the boat because you didn't want to be captured. Now look at you. You're stuck in the boat in the middle of the goddamn ocean by your damn self. Oh! Alright. Oh, the return to short story. Okay, I didn't even see that there. Dagon was written in Vagrant. Okay, Dagon was written in 1917 and first published in 1919 in The Vagrant, an amateur magazine focused on the supernatural. The story is the first of his stories that introduced an element from which the Cthulhu mythos, Dagon itself, a pagan cult worshipping Dagon, later appears in The Shadow over Innsmouth, one of Lovecraft's most popular works. 1917 is also the year when he wrote The Tomb, a story about Jervis Dudley, a daydreamer who discovers a mysterious mausoleum in the woods by his house and becomes obsessed with it. These two works mark Lovecraft's return to short story writing after he burned most of his attempts at the genre 9 years prior and decided to concentrate on poetry. Lovecraft stated that it was his friend William Paul Cook, a literary publisher and critic, who convinced him to start writing weird fiction again. Good man.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Oh, we gotta control it. Oh, what the hell is this? Well, that's a bit of an oopsie right there. That's, there's something on my bag, but I can't really, okay, no, I ain't worried about that. Something on my bag, but I can't zoom in and look at it. Well, this is definitely a landscape right here. I like the picture. I'm just gonna take a picture of it. Yes, I'm gonna take a picture. I like the landscape. Of course, I am one of those people who like weird shit, so,
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
I mean, well, let's see. You have what looks to be a dead octopus right in front of you, and then this and that thing in the distance that don't even look exactly like anything you know. Yeah, I would be a Lobo. I would be. I don't know, Rogue. I'm not sure. All I know is this is some funky shit.
For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Yeah. Although I love how the light kind of just splits in the sky there. Oh, we're over here. Okay, there's our boat we need to look at, but let me look around for... Oh, what the hell are you? Is that a trilobite? The Origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between the hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature, H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that the whole hideous crawl, and yet can feel the ooze sucking me down. In Defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells. In his own words, I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. but I cannot recall what early experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. Sounds like Mom. My mom hates fish. I don't know if she hates the sea, but she certainly hates fish. Going in the darkness? Okay. That looks like a trilobite. Flipped upside down. And desperately needing to be flipped over. What the fuck was that? No! Oh, okay. Let's see, is there any weird symbols or things here that I need to click real quick? That's a dead fish. Yeah, I don't know what the hell this shit is, but... Alright. Oh, that's lovely sounding.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Oh?
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Look at that! Look at that! Down. I think this is more of a seafloor issue. When you got that lump there, just kind of rising. I don't know what that is, but I don't know that's a fish. You check the boat. Anything in the sky there? Excuse me! Okay. Okay, I believe we're done with whatever's behind the boat there. We're done with whatever that is. I don't want to touch that. Is there any symbols or anything that I might... Aha, right there. Mystery of volcanic islands. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice, porous rock created when superheated, pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano. Okay. Can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. France.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Yeah, that's
moving. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
You didn't find no rescue, but what the fuck? I don't want to know what's behind that boat, and I'd rather not even think about asking. Okay, it's gotta be, Hey, buddy! How you doing? Keep waving at me. There's the moon, so we're somewhere. Okay, let's just click the thing. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but...
I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
The fuck is this right here? Oh, that's... Well, what is this, a tremor?
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Looking around for any... I'm straining my eyes, make sure I don't miss any little blurbs or whatnot. But I had a feeling they would probably be obvious. Then again, Hey, Clockwing, how you doing, buddy? Welcome in. Welcome in. You missed the end of Resident Evil DS, and now we're finishing out the night with Dagon, a free game on Steam that I bought 2 DLC for. I have no idea what the hell's going on, but it's a story with H.P. Lovecraft, so yeah.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Well, I don't know what the hell that is. Or that. I don't like... No, we're not going that way yet. I'm just looking around for... Oh, hey, look at that. Any... There's symbols that you also got... Yeah, fishing a fit. No, I see what you did there, Rogue. I see what you... Guy... Oh. Okay, the sky's doing a funky thing with the eyes. I'm not sure how that is. I don't much like that. Not seeing any symbols, so I guess we're good. Oh! 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 Okay, they all dead now. Especially this humpback whale. Yeah, he dead. He is straight up dead. I'm not seeing anything. Hey, son, how you doing? Okay, let's go. Oh, it's
that night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Riley was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean surface, in never-ending darkness, and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard to not find some irony in this. These are settings I love, by the way. I love the whole Cthulhu mythos shit. I love it.
By the 4th evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
Yeah.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, and in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Oh, there's a pack. But first, let me look around. Oh, right there. The Loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not ever frowning, eccentric, grumpy loner. He considered himself to be a person who accepted humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. At times, his social life was so intensive his work would suffer for months. There was a point when he finally decided he needed to put an end to daily meetings and loitering in New York cafeterias and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked on his door. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting him in a bathrobe, with an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of paper scattered across the floor. That is a good way to keep people from coming over. Just, you come in with your looking butt naked in a bathrobe in the house of best. Hey, I just want to see you okay. Everything okay? Okay. I'm gonna go now. Good. Slam the door in the face. That's a good way to keep people from visiting.
The broken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Oh.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
I don't want to look over the side, you know? I don't got a choice.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Yeah, I'm not liking the slime, though. That looks a little precarious, my man, just gonna say.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
My man is just itching to go places his ass shouldn't. You know what? It's fine. We're just gonna... Oh, the controller's rumbling.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Wait. The controller is vibrating. Just ever so slightly, but it is vibrating. Which is kind of freaking me out. Just making sure I don't miss any little things. Alright, you have a good night, Rogue. Thanks for stopping by.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Yeah, what kind of sensations? The kind you don't want to frick with? The kind you don't want to even go anywhere near with? And the kind you don't need to be fricking with in the first goddamn place? But yet here we are, fricking with things that we shouldn't frick with. But oh well.
I'm about to bust.
Hey, Morak, you done had some good meal, didn't
For
you?
despite its enormous magnitude, and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
Yes, it's a very well-shaped monolith.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of surroundings to be examined here, I'm gonna tell you.
The moon, now near the zenith,
Oh,
shone
Lord.
weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Okay.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi,
Fishes?
crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
It's fish, not fishes!
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
Uh-huh.
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Dagon contained many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness and Nameless City, journals and characters' notes, The Shadow of Time, The Haunter of the Dark, islands emerging from the ocean, The Call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies, Migo and the Whisperer in the Darkness. It's also considered the origin of popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also include in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Too late, you probably already did.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a Doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail.
Why not?
For the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Oh, those would be some awesome payday masks, I'm gonna tell you.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
The problem with reading Lovecraft is that you get into the story and then Dagon. Those look like some awesome payday masks, I'm gonna tell you.
Glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background.
No, I don't think they were.
For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Hold on, checking the time real quick. Okay. Alright, let's look around real quick. Not seeing any little thingaboys, so, yeah.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly,
oh crap!
I saw it.
Controllers, oh lord, the controller's rumbling. Why? What the hell?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Uh-oh. Oh god!
Fiend-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
Oh, hello!
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head, and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Okay, we're passing out.
I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the sloping cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Oh, you're just gonna leave your shit, huh? Just gonna book like a motherfucker. Don't blame me, really. You see something like that, yeah, you gonna leave too. You gonna be like, I'm out.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Making sure I'm not missing anything.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Oh, lovely. We're having issues. We're having a bit of a mental time. It's fine. It's fine. You're seeing into my head a little bit.
Out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Ah, a delirious but free achievement.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Yeah, it's like they're free. I love Cthulhu mythos as much as I love cyberpunk and steampunk. I would love a game, an open world game with the whole Cthulhu mythos. I would love it. Oh, we got something here. The Journalist. Achievement, Cosmic Horror Scholar. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1950, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments, and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. And also, thank you for the 300 bits, Clockwing. Thank you very much. Oh no, the Horsebound Comprehension being California. Thank you for the bits, Clockwing. Never needed, but always appreciated, especially right now. Especially right now. But yeah, it's like I need to get a couple of books of his if I can afford it, and get me some start reading them, because I love the whole friggin' mythos. I do. Oh no, wait, I did. Oh no, okay. In defense of Dagon, in 1921, Lovecraft released a series of 3 essays: The Defense Reopens, The Defense Remains Open, and Final Words, later published as a collection titled In Defense of Dagon, in which he rebuked a series of criticisms directed at his works. Some notable quotes: "I paint what I dream, and I will let the public settle the rest amongst themselves." Mr. Monday asked for a raison d'etre of Dagon. I will give it. Purely and simple to reproduce a mood. Its object is the simplest in all art: betrayal. The physical horrors of war, no matter how extreme and unprecedented, hardly have a bearing on the entirely different realm of supernatural terror. Ghosts are still ghosts. The mind can get more thrills from unrealities than from realities. In the essays, Lovecraft touches upon the topics of atheism, materialism, the quest for truth, and the love of science. Oh, there's 2 in here. God dang. The Atheist. Lovecraft considered himself an atheist and absolute materialist, which he attributed partly to his early childhood interest in astronomy and science in general. In his own words, "I am indeed an absolute materialist, so far as actual belief goes, with not a shred of credence in any form of supernaturalism, religion, spiritualism, transcendentalism. God dang, that's a word. Metempsychosis or immortality. All I say is I think it is damned unlikely that anything like a central cosmic will, a spirit world, or an eternal survival of personality exists. They are the most preposterous and unjustified of all guesses which can be made about the universe, and I am not enough of a hair splitter to pretend that I don't regard them as errant and negligible moonshine. In theory, I am an agnostic, but pretending the appearance of radical evidence, I must be classed practically and provisionally as an atheist. Sources against religion, atheist writings, H.P. Lovecraft. Okay. I really look for some of these, I tell you. So much to clean that mess up there. This ain't a very sanitary health condition I'm in with someone to tell you a little tinkle on the floor, maybe a little poopy doo doo.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Oh, before I see it, oh, right there. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as an ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain, and rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He's often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew, the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I am learning a lot of shit about my man Cthulhu here. Let me just look around. Trying to see if I spot any of those what's-em-whoozits. Don't think I see any more, so.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
I see a certain book there. August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu Mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It's also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu Mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Thanks! Great job, Derleth! Great job! Fricked up the whole mess! Man done fricked it all. Oh, we can finally see in 360 degrees of loveliness. Oh! The marketer. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine, where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. Oh, this is good. From an ad for Curtis Woodwork. Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in or permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dresses, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship which energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark on the individual pieces prevent any substitution by careless contractors. Okay, it's not bad. It's not a bad ad. I've seen worse. Good lord, we've all seen far worse ads, trust me. Half the ads we get on YouTube and Twitch are some bad ads in and of themselves. Gonna go look at this clock. It's an important clock, probably. Hey, man, hey. Or ma'am, I'm sorry. Didn't check it. Oh, there's that right there. The scientist. These days, the word scientist is a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was a subject to a wide debate. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that a man of science was more appropriate term to employ. He admitted in defense of Dagon that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use the phrase they suggested. Scientist was coined as an analog to artist, to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science resembling the term man of letters was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender-specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading in obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. Okay, whatever. Wink, wink. Can I do anything? No. Alright, what the hell was that? I think it's time to leave. If that means leaving right through this door here. Oh, we're not.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Oh, what's this? Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. This is a lot of interesting stuff here about the guy in the whole mythos. I like this. Lovecraft hated tobacco. So do I. I hate the smell. Even though he used to smoke when he was 12, in order to look and feel like an adult, in his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion of alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 13th of February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise, that's a word, I just learned that they existed, of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. Source, the Spirit of Revision, Lovecraft's letters to Zelia Brown. I have to agree, I don't like tobacco. And I certainly don't like drinking. I'm actually very against drinking. I have a reason. I've lost an uncle to it, so, yeah. Making sure there's no other... what's the mahoozits to, look at. Oh, right there! Elder sign. At another house where people were stirring, he asked questions about the gods, and whether they danced often upon Neron. But the farmer and his wife would only make the elder sign and tell them the way to Nir and Uthar, the dream quest of unknown Kadif H.P. Lovecraft. Elder sign is a protective symbol that can be found in various works of pop culture, usually represented by a 5-pointed star with an eye flame symbol in its center. For example, in games inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's writings, it's supposed to ward away all kinds of cosmic horrors. However, this is a latter version of the sign, created by the author's friend, writer August Derleth. Derleth, you're freaking up again! In our game, we have used the original symbol designed by Lovecraft in the form of a 6-pointed branch, which he sometimes included in letters to his friend. Okay, so Lovecraft liked the 6-pointed branch, okay. They hid that one well, I missed that one. Okay, drink your morphine.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols,
oh boy,
carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Oh, lovely. That's a screenshot.
The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Maybe I'll look around here real quick just to see if there's any extras? You know, I'm just gonna click it.
It shall not find me. God, that hand!
Oh!
The window! The window!
Okay, just jump out the window, I guess. Yeet! I wonder if that was our scream or someone looking up and go, oh shit! Thank you for playing. Okay, what the hell is these? Okay, hold on. Let me check out these DLCs real quick here. Okay, the first DLC, the Eldritch Box, is ebook version of Dagon, ebook version of Fishhead, audiobook version of Dagon. Okay. What about the no. Come on. No, stop that. I have this. Okay, hold on. Okay, how do I access that other DLC? The first DLC is just audiobooks. What's the second one? Is that a game? Okay, you need to load. Game. You need to load. Let me check this shit. I bought DLC. Trivia. Oh, I missed. Oh, I got all of it. I missed two. I literally missed two. Okay, I'm not gonna go back in the stream and get those. But how do I get to the last bottle? How do I ask? About so short 5-10 minutes adaptation. Okay.
Heave to! There's something floating to the leeward.
I guess that means leeward?
The speaker was a short, stockily built man whose name was William Jones.
Okay, we got a kid narrating. Great, this is gonna be fun.
He was the captain of a small catboat in which he and a party of men were sailing at the time the story opens.
Okay, the birth of the writer. Howard Phillips Lovecraft was born on August 20th, 1890 at 9 a.m. in Providence, Rhode Island. Where most of the freaking mythos just set there. We're a perfect place for it. The exact date of when The Little Glass Bottle was written is unknown. Young Howard probably penned it in 1896 or 1897. It was first published more than 20 years after his death as part of the anthology Shuttered Room and Other Pieces, 1959. Lovecraft himself regarded The Little Glass Bottle as a youthful attempt at a humorous story. H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhard Kleiner, 16 November 1960. Scans of the handwritten original can be viewed in the digital repository of the Brown University. Okay, just looking around. Hey, buddy.
Aye, aye, sir, answered John Towers, and the boat was brought to a standstill.
You can't be having a name named John Towers and not be a big guy. You know, like 7 foot. No, that's kind of messed up. It ticks me off. What are you going to do with that?
Captain Jones reached out his hand for the object, which he now discerned to be a glass bottle. Nothing but a rum flask that the men on the passing boat threw over, he said. But from an impulse of curiosity, he reached out for it.
Which I will do in just a minute, because, like I said, looking around. Okay, I'm not think I've seen that yet.
It was a rum flask, and he was about to throw it away when he noticed a piece of paper in it.
Oh yeah, nice piece of paper.
He pulled it out, and on it read the following. January 1st, 1864.
Okay, all that epic little musical sting for that?
I am John Jones, who writes this letter. My ship is fast sinking with the treasure on board. I am where it is marked on the enclosed chart.
Making sure there's no other...
Captain Jones turned the sheet over, and the other side was a chart.
That's the worst freaking map I ever seen in my goddamn life!
On the edge were written these words. Dotted lines represent course we took.
This is an... Oh my god, this... If you'd have handed me this map and said, this is where treasure's at, I would tell you to go eat my ass.
Towers, said Captain Jones excitedly. Read this.
And Towers said, you're an
Towers
idiot.
did as he was directed. I think it would pay to go, said Captain Jones. Do you? Just as you say, replied Towers. We'll charter a schooner this very day, said the excited captain. All right, said Towers.
Family legend. There's an interesting legend about one of the offshoots of the Lovecraft lineage, the Musgraves. They were in possession of a 14th century chalice, most likely from Syria or Egypt, called the Luck of Edenhall. Legend has it that the goblet belonged to some fairies who happily drank from it at the St. Cuthbert's Well. When curious people suddenly appeared there, the fairies escaped, abandoning the goblet. Then one of them shouted to a warning, "If this cup should break or fall, farewell the Luck of Edenhall!" Okay. Fortunately, the chalice survived. You can still admire it in the V&A Museum in London. This legend has been reappearing in pop culture over the years, ranging from an old German ballad through the name of a pop rock band to manga. Okay.
So they hired a boat
schooner. Yeah, not bad. Only 2 guns? No. No, okay. Well, maybe I'm thinking there's not many guns on this, just a schooner. Which I think highly bad. You should have some guns on that boat. Look at this little overworld. Look at this freaking island shanty town. Look at this. Look at this shanty town. I love it. Childhood games. One of Lovecraft's favorite children's games was creating complex scenes using building blocks, models, tin soldiers, and clods of earth. With their help, he played out various historical scenarios. These events were sometimes short-lived, represented a war, a plague, or simply a thrilling spectacle of travel, commerce, or some event that led nowhere. But sometimes they spanned long eons, reflecting changes in the appearance of landscapes or buildings. H.P. Lovecraft to J. Vernon Shea. It is especially interesting considering his later writing career. There was a kind of intoxication in being lord of a visible world, albeit a miniature one, and determining the flow of its events. It was not his only childhood pastime. He enjoyed riding a bike he received for his 10th birthday so much that years later he described himself from that period as a veritable bicycle centaur. He really liked his boats. Okay.
It started off governed by the dotted lines of the chart.
Keeping an eye out for any marks or anything. Oh well. This would have been better as like a first-person, like, FPS kind of movement thing. It would be far better. Oh! Fascination with science. H.P. Lovecraft learned to read at the age of 4. Damn! Most people, I've heard most people can't get kids read shit till 5 or 6. He quickly became interested in exact science, especially chemistry. As a 9-year-old, he even started publishing his own amateur magazine, the Scientific Gazette, and sometime later the series The Chemistry. Around 1900, the future master of horror developed an interest in Antarctica and began writing treatises on expeditions to the continent. This undoubtedly influenced one of his famous works, At the Mountains of Madness, written 30 years later. As a 12-year-old, Lovecraft discovered astronomy, which he later considered his most moving experience. Realizing the immensity of the cosmos had a huge impact on his worldview and work, laying the foundations for the cosmic horror genre. Mastery of concept as an expanding universe still makes me shudder in a unique manner. I like how you never really see their faces, which is, oh, I see yours! I see your face, dude! Kind of look like Markiplier from a distance.
In 4 weeks, they reached the place where directed.
Took them a whole month, huh? Whole month of sailing just to get to one goddamn place. It's real brilliant. Kind of sad, really. Making sure. Okay, wait, no. Let's make sure there's nothing else around here. Can't click the bell? That's sad.
And the divers went down.
And they were never heard from again. Making sure I ain't missing any. Oh! Literature. Lovecraft developed an interest in literature at a very young age. One of the first books he read was Grimm's Fairy Tales. A year later, at the age of 5, he discovered 1001 Nights collection. As a 6-year-old, he came across the darkly atmospheric illustrations by Gustav Dorr, which made a huge impression on him. At the same age, he became fascinated with I can't speak. Hellenistic myths and began his writing adventure. My attempts to write in verse, the first of which I made at the age of 6, were then in the form of raw, internally rhyming ballads, and I sang about the deeds of gods and heroes, selected letters. However, 2 years later, his literary tastes underwent a key shift. That's when I discovered Edgar Allan Poe. It was my downfall at the age of 8. I saw the blue firmament of Argos and Sicily plunge into the darkness of the miasmatic fumes of the tomb. Lovely. Oh, we're underwater. Oh, we all went underwater. Shit, we all done went down. Okay, that's a concern. Lots of fish down here. Good fishing. Okay, we're now at the bottom of the ocean. The bottom of the ocean. Oh, what the frick are you? Grandpa! Huh? Whipple Van Buren Phillips, Lovecraft's grandfather, was a very important figure in his life, as the writer said himself. My beloved grandfather became the center of my universe. Selected letters. Van Buren Phillips introduced his grandson to various works of art he brought home from his travels, exchanged letters with him, and helped him develop his passions. He largely replaced Lovecraft's dead father. Interestingly, he also cured him of his fear of the dark by encouraging him to walk through a series of dark rooms. Young Howard's grandfather was probably the only family member that told Lovecraft improvised mystery tales, which undoubtedly influenced his later work. Good grandpa. The frick are you idiots? Fast it is. Nice little musical sting for no reason. Sorry, just give me a minute. Just looking around for more little branches here. Oh, that's all we found. Time to go back up.
And came up with an iron bottle. They found in it the following lines scribbled on a piece of brown paper.
I'd be mad at this point. I'm just gonna say, I'd be mad as hell that I just went through all that diving for a bottle. I'd be mad as hell.
December 3rd, 1880. Dear Searcher, excuse me for the practical joke I have played on you. But it serves you right to find nothing for your foolish act. Well, it does, said Captain Jones. Go on. However, I will defray your expenses to and from the place you found your bottle. I think it will be $250, so that amount you will find in an iron box.
Few extra dots there. I'm not sure if that's how they did that in the day, but whatever.
I know where you found the bottle, because I put this bottle here. And the iron box. And then found a good place to put the second bottle. Hoping the enclosed money will defray your expenses some I close. Anonymous.
Oddities. There are a few puzzling elements in the little glass bottle. For example, the number 250 is, which is not a typo, as this amount appears in the text 3 times. It's not entirely clear why Lovecraft decided to write out the number this way, and what he meant by it. While publishers and translators interpret it in various ways, in our opinion, most likely meant $250. The map used in the game replicates the original version drawn by Lovecraft for this story. Did you notice that the land marked on is signed as Australia? A simple typo? Or maybe young Howard was already creating his own lands? Oh, Australia. Oh, and unknown islands in his imagination. But Australia is real, right? Whatever. It's also puzzling that dates on the letter appear in both bottles are almost 17 years apart. All this way for
I'd
250
like to
bucks.
kick his head off, said Captain Jones.
I don't blame you.
Here, diver, go and get the $250.
You want me to go back and get 250 bucks, you son of a bitch? You go and get it. I'm not going to get it, you get it. I'm not going back down there. You get your own damn money, you son of a bitch. I said get you. I hate you and your entire existence. My captain's a douchebag, forcing me to go back down for 250 piddly ass bucks. If I drown, I'm coming back to haunt you. Abdul Al-Hazred, whatever. Yeah, now it's that for nothing. Influenced by 1001 Nights, Lovecraft started using the pseudonym Abdul Al-Hazred. Okay, I got it that time. And persuaded his mother to take him to all the Oriental curio shops and fit him up an Arabian corner in his room. H.P. Lovecraft to Robert E. Howard, 16 January 1932. It's not entirely uncertain whether the pseudonym was created by the young writer himself or invented by the family lawyer Albert A. Baker. The name Abdul Al-Hazred is certainly very well known to lovers of the Cthulhu mythology. Nicknamed the Mad Arab, Abdul was the author of the Necronomicon, the infamous forbidden book of secret knowledge, and it has been mentioned by Lovecraft in various works. Later, Howard became very fascinated by ancient Rome, which resulted in the adaptation of another nickname at the age of 17, Le El Various Masala, which he used during games.
In a minute, the diver came up bearing an iron box.
Yeah, he's upset as hell, as I would be too, because, you know, diving twice for a goddamn frickin'... Did you drink all the rum, Captain? I'm a mutiny and throw your ass overboard for that bullshit. You done drunk all the rum, hoping to get a drink after this bullshit. Jackass.
Inside it was found $250. It defrayed their expenses. But I hardly think that they will ever go to a mysterious place as directed by a mysterious bottle.
I'll definitely learn you never go do anywhere with a mysterious goddamn bottle. Your ass is gonna be pissed off in the motherfucker. Because you're gonna sit there and realize you just got screwed in the motherfucker. Oh, I'm checking something really quick here. No, I'm not gonna do the DLC, the other DLC, the Eldritch boxes. It's just audiobooks. Sadly. Let's see, did I miss any? I still liked it. It's just it was a lot shorter than I was expecting. Did I miss any hints? Am I gonna go back from? No. I mean, not. Get it. Let me see, trivia. I got everything in the DLC. Oh, I got an achievement I didn't even catch. Got everything here, but I missed 2 here. I'll go back on my own time and get them. Alright, let's see. It's only 9:14. What can I do for an hour? I know what I can do. I know exactly what I can do.